and embarking over the same issue as Pakistan's powerful army chief is again responding to negotiation, and also Pakistan is pushing very hard, and the United States is opening its doors, but the question that remains is that the more the time is expanded, the more energy prices are at hike. And the more we become stranded when concerning the supply chain, the food supplies, everything, the more the Hormuz Strait becomes under stress to be closed. It's a very complicated issue, and for more details we're joined here in the studio by Dr. Amany Shenawy. She's a renewable energy expert, and she's going to be giving us her valuable input over this very complicated issue. Good morning, Dr. Shenawy. How are you doing?
Good morning.
How are you doing? It's a real pleasure to have you. Let me ask you, those negotiations are ongoing. So, sometimes it is okay, and they leave the negotiating table with certain conditions. The next day, those conditions are breached and violated, and then it comes to a halt again. It's a vicious circle, and I was just speaking with Professor Dr. Hassan Wagi, is a professor of international relations. He said that negotiations take more than one round, and when there are trust issues, it becomes more complicated. So in this light, where do we stand? Because there are energy crisis, there is energy crisis that is affected, and there are countries that are highly affected, and there is a lot of damage when it comes to the energy prices. So exactly how do you assess this situation?
As for the energy prices, they are directly proportional to the acceleration of the war. So as long as we're having troubles, wars, the energy prices are going up, and all the prices around the world will go up. This is considered a crisis. It's not something good economically for all countries. So everyone has to join hands in order to avoid having acceleration of the war, stop the war, and have the logistics back, such that the energy prices might be stabilized. So in the negotiations, you always have pressures. What's happening now is that they're having pressures, leaving the war situation open. Yes, we are going to have several rounds until we attain sustainability again.
So the entrance of Pakistan, or the dominance of Pakistan and Egypt, of course, but the Pakistani mediation role, does it signal a new energy diplomacy dynamic in the region?
Pakistan is having good relations with certain countries that are involved. So they are having diplomatic moves that are very important at this time of the negotiations. Egypt is a catalyst, as Egypt has good relations with all parties and is not involved as a partner in this war by any means, except for supporting sustainability, supporting justice, and giving push to stop the war. So Pakistan is having the moves that were done in the last days, and Egypt is moving in all directions, and hopefully this comes to an end.
Well, hopefully, inshallah, but then we're talking about the energy importing countries. There are, most of the countries, I mean, almost a good percentage of countries are energy importing countries. What does that mean for them, the current phase? And how could they have some alternatives, or how could they handle it? What is the best way to handle it?
The current situation is restoring power, restoring the balance of the power of certain countries. So power comes from when you have the resources, and the energy is the most important resource. For the countries who are importing the energy, most of us, we pay for what we get, and some countries go for having energy without paying for it. So this is making the trouble here, the conflict of interest which caused the war. So we're having, as the countries who are importing the energy, yes, we are having trouble, and we are looking for different resources, and we are looking for different paths too for transporting the energy. As for Egypt and Saudi Arabia, we're having the new path that is in the future going to have the energy the Gulf energy, the Gulf fuels transformed through Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and to the importing countries. This will be a very good alternative to the Persian Gulf.
Yes, of course. But then good countries in the Middle East, in spite of that is going to take quite some time, that particular very hopeful project. But then meanwhile, could countries in the Middle East use this moment to shift more aggressively towards renewable energy? However, we are on top of, ahead of those countries who are moving with very rapid speed towards renewable energy. You have mega projects, different mega projects, more than maybe 8 or 9 or 10 projects. But then it takes time. So how could it be then regulated in a way so that we could be at least make a small shift towards renewable energy?
Let's agree that the fossil fuels ruin the atmosphere. We're having very high carbon emissions. So we're studying and accelerating the replacement of fossil fuels with renewable energy. Egypt has a great potential in producing renewable energy, as we're having a great solar power in Egypt. We're having the nuclear power, which is the cleanest power of all. We're having the green hydrogen energy, and Africa as well is having a great potential in producing solar energy and exporting it. Egypt being in the midway of between Africa, Europe, is a hub for all this energy, especially that we're having our waterways, our network of ports that are we're having 14 ports all over Egypt, which is a high potential of how to be a hub for exporting the energy and receiving the energy from countries and exporting them. So we're having a new geography of how the energy will be transformed after this war.
Of course. So I mean, if there is, usually with any round of negotiations, there is a ceasefire. And it seems that we're about to witness more than one round of negotiations, or maybe this one could be effective. Nobody knows, but hopefully it would end in a peaceful way. But at the end, with every round of negotiation, there is a phase of a ceasefire. During that phase, or that stability phase in the region, could that reduce the risks around key routes like the Strait of Hormuz, like considering easing the tensions away from the Strait of Hormuz and have some mercy over the energy prices and the whole countries of the world, and try to probably regulate the passage of some ships somehow according to international law? I mean, something of that sort is supposed to go like that.
Yes, the negotiations has to include the removing the penalties on Iran. This is very unfair that they're having all those penalties through the past years. People there are suffering economically. So for having Hormuz Strait opened again, we have to have a win-win situation. USA and Iran have to negotiate, and they have a win-win situation that helps both countries to go on. Meanwhile, we have our alternatives, the Gulf and Egypt having the new path of energy. This will be very important. It will help a lot. to reduce the pressure on Hormuz Strait. So being in the middle of the world, Egypt as a country having its geographical place in the middle of the world, it is a great responsibility that we are connecting everyone. We can connect everyone. We have to be stable and in peace. So that's why what Egypt is having good relations with everyone, and we're prepared to have helping to be helping economically and reducing the pressure on countries, especially the economic pressure.
So do you think that this might urge Iran itself benefit from investing in on renewable energy if sanctions are eased? I mean, and shift it away from the uranium enrichment, and if there is uranium enrichment beyond the limits, because there were no reports from the International Atomic Energy Agency. As usual, the United States strikes a country with no inspection from that particular department for nuclear energy, or an approval from the United Nations as an international community or the Congress. But it happened, and it happened before in Iran. And George W. Bush Jr. apologized later on. In Iraq, sorry.
Yes.
No, it's
yes,
the K.
It's the same spelling.
It's the K instead of the
yes,
N. But it happened in 2003 back in Iraq, and George W. Bush apologized. So, but anyway, in other cases, do you think this is going to affect some change of mind amongst worldwide? On top of them are the countries who have the strong passion and urge to enrich uranium for peaceful, purposes, not for any dangerous purposes. Do you think this could be affected? I mean, could be any good outcome out of this war?
Activated uranium is very important for peaceful industry, like making the electronic chips, those used in our cell phones and in many daily instruments that we're using. So it's not always that that countries use the uranium in harmful as a harmful weapon. So we don't want to see we are not ready to see the Iraqi scenario happening again. And we can see that Europe didn't participate this time in attacking Iran. And this is very important and very wise of Europe. We're not repeating the Iraqi scenario again with Iran. And Iran, yes, they can benefit from having the penalties removed and the picture clear, and they use the uranium in peaceful manners, and they get their fossil fuels exported again, and homes opened again. If peace happens, this will be useful for everyone in the world, including the United States.
Of course. It seems like Pakistan is having more than one card in its hand, and it's in its black box. That's why they are leading the negotiations and having a great urge and great enthusiasm to be able to continue with trust in spite of the failures that are scattering here and there. How do you assess the role of Pakistan now in this Iranian crisis, and why the negotiations are taking place through the Pakistani channel? What exactly is on the Pakistani political and economic and probably, let me say, energy will or energy might that could effect more pressure on both sides?
Pakistan is having good relations with their neighbor. They are having their needs and their plans in order to be productive, in order to take steps forward in industry and in all means. So they are playing the role of returning back peace, because peace is the main issue that will, peace and stability, that will make countries develop. Without peace, there is no development. So it's very important for Pakistan to keep developing, to have good relations with the surroundings, and to avoid the war that is going on. Their role is very important at the moment, and they are successful. We are helping as Egypt, and we will help more, and we will be having more help in this point, and we are already having, we are a main player in the field of peace, and we are getting to be a main player in the oil market as a hub that will save the world from making the prices getting higher and higher through our stability, through our network, ports, and all the transportation network that we're having in Egypt, and the stability.
Do you think in this round of talk that there were no details unfolded concerning this round of talks now, according to media outlets, but then probably the political observers are expecting both sides would ease up or step back in their conditions, as long as they have the urge to seek a solution or sort it out, the crisis, and as long as they have the urge to be able to lessen the damage and seize the fire. The political observers talked about the United States and said that the United States, they look like they need to end this war, but they need to end it with a certain image because of probably a miscalculation, a hasty decision, whatever you can call it. The Iranian side is willing to end it because of the massive damage that has been effected inside the country. However, on another hand, it is urging them more not to end it unless they have some benefits, because they were sitting on the negotiating table on the first place a day prior to the strikes. The next day there were strikes over Tehran. So how do you assess this situation?
I'm not happy with putting the image as a first place before peace and stability. If we have wrong calculations, then we say that we did it wrong and we are backing up.
But this not the United States.
This is very important to be. This is very important to be true with oneself, and have the courage to say that I am a man for peace and coming to have stability.
Exactly, and this is what President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said when he made like some political observers assessed it as a historic speech and a historic call for a leader of the United States during that particular forum, Energy Forum, Egypt's 2026, when he kindly and respectfully addressed President Donald Trump as the man of peace, the man who's opting always for effecting peace in every region, and who have effected peace earlier before in Gaza and all that, and with all the power that is in his might, he's the only one who can stop this war.
Drawing the light, yes, drawing the light to the Egypt's forum, the energy forum that was held in Egypt last week, during the last 2 weeks. It was opened by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. At that time of war, it was very important to have our forum, our annual forum taking place at that time. And yes, it was very important that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi called for President Trump to stop the war as a man of peace, because it's very important. Peace is related to energy, and this forum was for energy, attended by experts, by decision makers, and it was a
and
very important
presidents of European energy empires.
Yes. So having all those people at our forum, the call was very important for President Trump to take the step and stop the war as a man of peace. And if any calculations were not exact, this is very courageous that we say. So it has to be stopped at that point, and for the Iranian people, we're removing the penalties, and the Iranian people have better economic and live in peace, and all the world live in peace.
Right. The reason we raised this question is that because the President, Abdel Fattah Sisi, studied very much the mentality and state of mind concerning Donald Trump, and at the same time, sometimes when you do a miscalculation with that character, you need an exit, need someone to give you a justification so that you can take another exit. Like what you kindly refer to right now, there is nothing wrong with going back from your decision, shifting to another solution.
Yes, so, and we have people living happily ever after.
Yes,
this is what we need, because the countries have little kids, little children who need the future. Little countries, sorry, not little countries, countries that are developing and have their plans of developing. So it's always a win-win situation. Every country has to take its opportunity to develop and to have better life, and we help each other to do that.
Your own assessment of the whole situation for the future, your final thought, if you like, now?
When we end this war, stability comes, and people will have a better life, stability and development all over the world.
Hopefully, let's cross our fingers from over here, and maybe next time that you come over, we have the pleasure to meet you, we can witness together a new era for the Middle East that is more prosperous, filled with prosperity and peace and stability and everything. Thank you so much, Dr. Amany Shenawy, a leading civil society and an entrepreneur and an expert in civil work. Would like to thank you so much, Dr. Amany Shenawy. By this, we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. Many thanks to all of you. Until we see you again tomorrow morning. That's